Would you give up your privacy to live in a smart city? That is the subject of today's edition of Inside AB. I'm Jeremy Lawrence, joined here in the studio by Eddie Taylor. Eddie, we had an interesting piece in the magazine this week, a comment piece. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it was by Michael Winterson of Equinix. And what he's suggesting is that smart cities are here and they're only going to get more prevalent on a global scale. And he's looking at various pitfalls to that and also various solutions as well. And he actually thinks that blockchain is going to be the magic bullet that's going to make smart cities power our urban living in the future.
Right. We're getting in all the buzzwords here, smart cities and buzzwords. Let's talk about a bit more about what these smart cities are. We're not just talking about paid parking meters, are we? We're talking about a whole vast array of services.
Yeah, I mean, to put it in context, Dubai's got 545 different smart city initiatives that it's going to roll out by the end of 2021. So this is, in Michael Winterson's belief, Dubai and Hong Kong are the two cities that really are at the forefront of smart city solutions. It really is everything from digital signage. It is everything to toll roads. It's everything to, yes, parking. It's going into retail spaces and having the shops understand who you are and what you're wanting to buy and giving you
before you get there.
Before you get there, and having touch screens of preloaded offers that are geared around you. And it's also things from, like, you know, again, in a strictly Dubai context, it's the paperless government. So it's how you have your car registered. It's how the paperwork when it comes to buying a house and buying property and how that transaction is stored. So all of these things are processes in which digital solutions can make our lives here much easier.
But it means everybody knows who we are without us having to say, which obviously begs the question of security.
Yeah, I mean, what Michael Winterson is arguing is that he makes a sort of an interesting analogy, shall we say. He says that these smart cities will actually have to act like almost like city-states or castles in medieval feudal Europe, whereby, you know, you have to pay a toll to enter and get all the benefits of being there, whether that's security, whether that's a market, whether that's a network of kind of the privileged people within that particular society. He says that the toll we would have to pay in the future for entering these environments is with our data. So every time we enter a smart environment, we basically have to go, yeah, you can use all my data. You can access all of my data from my various profiles that I've set up, and you'll know who I am, where I've shopped, what age I am, how many children I've got, all of that kind of stuff. And we have to sort of allow that to happen in order for our urban experience to be the smooth one that the smart cities promise.
So by this castle idea, this analogy, you're fully in or you're fully out, I think he's saying, isn't he?
Yeah, you won't get the benefits unless you pay that toll.
Yeah.
And then, as you absolutely rightly say, you know, we had the huge controversy over Facebook and, you know, accessing our data and then selling it onto third parties without our permission, and also data that they'd gathered not from us but from our friends on the platform. So these controversies won't go away, and I think they'll only get bigger when you realise that it isn't a private company like Facebook, which we could not use their platform should we choose to, but is actually the custodians of the country or the city in which we live. These are effectively government institutions that will have this data, and the degree to which we allow them to access it on a 24/7 basis, that's going to be a bit of a worry, I think.
Yeah. Now, obviously, there's lots of bigger, sort of slightly scary 1984 style issues that you could get into, but just to get a little bit more into the sort of the granular detail for Arabian business, blockchain, if we're just talking about pure data security, blockchain is being seen as a big lifeline almost in that regard, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think what his point about blockchain is very, very well taken, is the sense that the whole point of blockchain, it isn't centralized. So it's not like you're necessarily handing over massive amounts of data to a government or a metropolitan administrative center. It's all decentralized. It's a decentralized ledger. So if, for instance, you pass through a toll gate, then that's a smart contract that your car or a tag on your car will have made with the person that put the toll gate up, and that is instantly that's transparent. It's forever. It's permanent. You can see it. You can access that information at any particular time. So that kind of takes away from that slightly Big Brother thing that you talked about. Is the fact that this is data that's collectively shared amongst millions of different computers and units. So it's not like someone's like taken your data. Another thing with blockchain as well, it is, you own it in a sense, like it's there forever. It's not someone can kind of take that transaction and run away with it. You can use it to your benefit. So you can go back and say, well, actually, I did pay that fine, or I did pay for that toll road, or I did buy that house on that particular day, or I did partake in that transaction. So, the blockchain can be a way of making all of these processes transparent and give you security that what you say you've done has actually been done.
Right. You can see then why everybody's been talking about blockchain so much in recent months.
Well, that's why the blockchain strategy is a massive part of the Dubai Smart City strategy. It's one of the key pillars of it. And that's why it's that very thing about giving people a sense of confidence that all of the things that we partake in a smart sense are all stored on the blockchain, and they're not actually kind of like, owned by the government or anything.
Great. All right, well, it's a fascinating subject, smart cities. They are coming, if not already here in Dubai and other places, and it's just how we navigate that. You've been watching Inside AB. Please do let us know what you think on this subject. Are you really looking forward to this coming? Are you fearing it? We'd love to know what you think, so do join in the conversation. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.